Should we wait for a little bit? It's already 11:04. We can just go ahead and start and then see if people join. But by the way, before I remember Nick used to send out an email like just before the outreach meeting. Hey folks, join us here. Does that help to remind?
Yeah, just a reminder. I think it's probably a good plan. We could ask Rian or Ben to send it out. I'm sure they can automate it. But
yeah, because I always didn't want to, like spam so many emails to people. That's just me. But if that works, that works.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's get started. Okay, I don't know if you noticed, I just changed the slide design a little bit, which I'll go over a little bit later what we're looking at. But welcome to the first outreach committee meeting in 2024. I'm super happy to get started, and I'm sure you are too. And I'm so glad to have you all here. So Confidential Computing Consortium, who we are a community focused on open source licensed projects, securing data and use, and accelerating the adoption of confidential computing through open collaboration. Here in our meeting, every member is welcome. Every project meeting, our criteria is welcome. Although we are advocates for transparent and collaborative community and communication here. So yeah. In antitrust policy, we are required to mention it during our meeting. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to the Linux Foundation folks here in the meeting. Oh, Rand is making a real-time change. Okay, so we're going to go over just the quick things. As everyone is kind of rebooting their brain from the holidays, we have a short list, but wanting to go over some of the updates and what we are expecting to have going forward. I want to talk about that a little bit today.
may I also ask for a brief specific addition, which is OSS North America. Sal will probably talk about that anyway, but the deadline for submissions is very soon. So, Sal, am I stealing your thunder? Sorry.
I have a slide.
Oh, okay. So I just need to shut up because competent people are here, and that's great. I'm gonna mute myself. See if that helps. Sorry.
Okay. Rian, can you help us see if we meet the quorum? Last time I saw before I share, we didn't.
No, not yet.
Okay. We might, because last time we met in the middle of the session, so. Okay,
Yes,
last outreach meeting. Okay, thank you.
A question on, can we just go back to the quorum question, please? Because I think, I'm not sure. Okay, I know that the chair is non-voting when attending the GB, but I thought that the chair could vote as long as there are a premier member representative in the committee. Could someone please check that? Leo can't because he represents a non-premier member. But I think that, Kate, you are able to vote, and therefore you can count towards quorum.
Okay, we'll have Ben and Rian check on that and get back to us.
Yeah, and we need, you're quite right, we need to find a red hat person. Emily Fox, if someone could get in touch with Emily Fox and see who the rep should be for that, because we definitely need to make sure they start coming as well. Sorry to be boring with point of order stuff, but I think it's worth getting.
Thank you for the call out. Thank you for the call out.
Rian, you're saying something?
Yes, now Emily is on leave this week. That's probably why she's not here. She's got.
Oh,
But we don't even have anyone listed as the rep. So we
Hmm.
do need to have someone listed.
Good.
But
Oh,
yes.
well.
yeah, I know Emily is representing Red Hat at Tech, but I'm not sure if she knows she is for Red Hat or there is somebody else. We need to kind of have clear
Exactly,
that
find out who that
communication.
is. Yeah, I think she's the main rep, so she's a good person to ask.
Good. I'll do.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Our minute was resolved last meeting. Did we have any questions or comments about this in this group? If not, we can move on. Okay, so I wanted to have this space to kind of welcome Sal officially starting her role at CCC. We're so excited to have Sal on board here, and I'll just have her to talk more about her role and what she's going to be involved and what, she's hoping to accomplish here and how we can support and how we can all collaborate. So I'll have you take it away.
Yeah, cool. Sounds good. So, I mean, most of you have met me by now, but if we haven't, really my role here is as the technical community architect. I really need to get these projects engaged, going, and get people an awareness at that technical level. But that means a combination of things. So I think I would consider myself onboarded now. If there's anything that I am missing that you're aware that I'm not aware of, let me know. And then a couple of things that are good for the outreach to just have an awareness. I am putting together for FOSDEM as our first event. I'll be putting together a little magazine that shows visually and verbally exactly what our projects cover. It's got the language that developers will look at and say, okay, I know what the repo stats are. This is how I can engage. That's nice because at all these events, if I'm trying to explain to them a new technology, I just can't. Their heads are saturated, but I can put something into their physical pocket for them to read when they get home. I do have a question around creating a marketing pulse. So what this is creating a beat of at least one blog post a week. This is all designed around SEO, bringing together projects and awareness. But if we can get that bleed out, I would love to co-coordinate on that pulse as we get further out into the months on which members and which ICs would be appropriate to co-write on those topics when it really makes their work stand out. And then the things we have on deck. There's a OSS North America that's due on Monday for the abstracts, and I really want us to have an interesting panel there. So I might pull together a couple of CTOs, but I'm wondering if anyone here has some ideas on who would be key for a panel. And then I do want to bring just a little bit of awareness back to the RFIs that are due in mid-January, because that's now. That's it.
When is an OSS North America?
So that one, I believe, takes place in April. Let me make sure, but
Oh,
Seattle, it's going to be April 16 to 18.
and I think also, I think what Manu had done previously, he sent out to the outreach list, but you can also send out to tech as well. But it's also helpful if you have short lists of people who you want to invite, but definitely open it up to everybody and invite and see what the interests are within the member.
Cool. I'll do it on email.
Okay. Super excited. I'm so happy to see this like a new energy and a new creation. And you mentioned about the SEO, and I'm excited for that. We have resources, as you know, we can make this work. And with your expertise, your experience, we combine together, I think it'll be great.
So I have a couple of questions, if I may. Sal, the first one is, are you planning to put the projects which are currently going through approval on the thing? I think you probably should, with a thing, a little star if we're not sure at that point. Okay, that was the first one. And secondly, to say to everyone, one of the great things about having Sal is that it doubles the way that we can approach the different conferences, because Sal can be targeting more technical and community-based stuff, and I can be targeting more strategic and business stuff, which really opens up our opportunities and more people for the booth and all those sorts of things, as well, of course, as anyone else is going to be there, who we look forward to welcoming members. But it just means that we have so many more opportunities to hit conferences in new ways. And also it means that if one of us can't go to a conference, the other one may be able to go as well. So Sal is already doing great stuff in many ways. And we're talking about different talks. And if there's things that you haven't already put onto the list of events, please add them so that we can consider them. Thank you.
I guess I do have one final ask around, so FOSDEM is our next event. State of Open, we don't need anything at, but if you do want any extra copy collateral there that we can carry, let us know. But I will be taking a description of the projects and trying to get developers engaged, because we can probably get contributors from that crowd.
That's right. Thank you so much for also volunteering and being at the FOSDEM. I believe you and Mike will be there.
Yeah, both of us.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
And Rian, thank you so much for handling everything behind the scene.
Yes.
No problem.
And in the spirit of welcoming, is there anybody, I can't see attendees, participants list, but is there any new folks joining today? Or Rian, do you see anybody?
Not on the, I'm not
No,
sure. I don't know.
not
Everybody, anybody that want to introduce themselves, welcome.
Yep, we've got a new one in the comments.
Oh, hey everyone. I can go ahead and do a quick intro. Yeah, my name's Yash. I'm from Canonical, so along with Ejlal, basically. And I'm the new product marketing manager at Canonical for our security offering. And one of the areas I'll be focusing on is confidential computing, which is why I'm going to start joining this call along with Ejlal. But yeah, I'm still quite new, but really excited to be in this space and looking forward to learning from all of you.
Yeah.
Welcome.
So glad to have you.
Yeah, Yash, that's fantastic. I'd love to have to get a meeting with you and discuss what Canonical's plans are. Maybe get Sal in as well. Love to organize that if we may.
Sounds great. Sounds great.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Awesome. Welcome. All right, moving on. So just a few touch points from my standpoint, what's new that's coming up. So in our outreach meeting, we have been selecting agenda topics on a very ad hoc basis and task basis. And I want to look at it more of, okay, let's have some cohesive conversation and collaboration and also insightful. In order to do that, I wanted to raise the all across like outreach effort together up. So we created 4 SIG, right? We have events and web presence, demo, and technical documents. So we will dedicate a slide or a certain, segment time for each SIG lead to update or, bring up any type of conversation they would like to within that time frame. So we will have a general discussion. We are already, we've been already doing, any members can bring up a suggestion or topics, but also we will have this designated SIG lead updates and collaboration section in each outreach meeting. So that's going to be what's different. New creative graphic assets. So as you see, I'm testing this out so that if we like it or not. So I am revamping all the visual graphics. So I want to kind of do a little bit facelift, as well as I will touch a little bit more, but I think we need to have, really be on top of updating our website and blog posts, like Saul mentions. There needs to be some, very holistic and cohesive curation have to happen. Same for newsletter, which I will touch on that a little bit. But in a design standpoint, I want to kind of give a fresh look and it's more inviting and then, upbeat kind of a vibe with that. So with that, this slide is what we're seeing. If we love it today, then we will lock it in and then we'll share it out with all committees. Okay. So
I like it. I'm not a graphic designer or artist, and I have a terrible eye, so that doesn't mean it shouldn't count for too much. But I like it. If we do it, we also need to think about whether it's appropriate, and I think it probably would be for conference presentations and similar.
I think that's what we had in mind when we designed it with the creative agency. There are different design, but I only use two, like the front title and then just the text. So this is the only two you're seeing, but there are different ones in the link.
Totally happy with this, and thank you so much for giving me a template with a white background. It's my pet peeve.
Yeah,
with this.
agreed.
Awesome. Same. Okay, newsletter. So we want to revamp this a little bit, give a little twist. So I also changed this. We want to have some segmented update. Again, this has not been like all through my brain yet. This is me brainstorming, and I threw it out there for you guys, and we can always revisit. But what I had in mind is to have the newsletter not to be the task update, but insightful update, and be able to see, as a member who might not be joining the meeting, or as the audience that we are targeting that might be interested, we'll be able to get those information in a monthly cadence, and it's insightful. So that's the one word that I really want to highlight. And so I will invite Tech, Dan from Tech, to write a portion. Outreach will write a portion. Saul will write a portion, and Mike will write a portion. So how much portion, Mike, you asked me, but that I don't know. I need to see what the format and layout, or what would make it not a giant long list of a letter, but how we can make it visually appealing and also easy to read, and it makes sense. So when we get to that, we can definitely lock in how much content we would need from you. But just
my danger is I can write as much. I will just write loads of stuff, and that's not going to be appropriate for all use cases. So I want to make sure that I'm targeting and insightful, as you say. So please let me know.
Absolutely. Is there a comment?
Yeah, I'm curious, when you do say insightful, I feel that you have something specific in mind. So are you saying the newsletter should not be about, hey, this company launched this particular thing in confidential computing? It should more be about, I don't know, more technical, without mentioning specific names?
Yeah, I would love to include both. Like, people will be able to see what is happening in the committee, like what kind of initiative and what kind of things that we are driving, what are we working on, but as well as what in the confidential computing sphere we should, like, what information can they get from us? I don't know. It's all like insightful information sharing, as well as being able to get a scoop of what's happening at a CCC. That's kind of where I'm going.
Yeah, this newsletter is quite literally our broadest point of contact for individuals we know are interested in the content already. So yeah, we will absolutely be keeping the updates in there, everything that has been in there, but I think, just beefing this up. And I think sort of the point that I put in the comments here it is really good. So as soon as we have those deadlined feedback loops, those are necessary in an organization that's open source. So I would say we, on a monthly cadence, we do our doing and our dones, and that done can be written up as a paragraph that everyone can see on a slide. And then those can get copied and ported in. So it's a nice way to consolidate reporting where everyone can see it on this slide. That could be ported directly into that. So I think that was just an efficient way to do it.
That's a great idea. I was thinking the cadence so far, I believe Nick has been sending out at the end of the month. So I did give heads up to the leads, maybe like second week. Like we will kind of send a reminder and then gather those data. And I like your idea to consolidate all of that into perhaps slides, so that no one has to share emails all back and forth.
And are we so 2 points on that. So firstly, are we doing it monthly or every other month, which I think has been what we've tended to do before? That's just a general question, really.
I'm hoping to do monthly.
Okay. The second one is some of the people we're going to be targeting will be techies. And I am a techie, and I hate with a vengeance graphics all over my emails. I'm happy to have a link to something which has graphics in it, kinda, but I'd prefer to have plain text emails with very little in there.
I know.
Apart from anything else, I turn off, for security reasons, graphics in appearing in emails. So we need to think about that, because our constituency is part techie here, and very deep, security techies with similar views to me, I suspect. So I know that's going to be a difficult thing to do, but we need to work out what our balance and be intentional about it. If a decision is made that we want to have graphics, understand, but I abhor it with a vengeance. So just saying.
Yeah, that's a great feedback or comment. I also don't like all the text all covering my pages. Like, I want it to be like easy to read, and so maybe there is a way that we could balance that. I'm not saying that we have to put a graphic everywhere. That wasn't what I was saying, but make it a appealing look, visually appealing, but we can also capture what's necessary.
Plain
to
text
be
is
included.
beautiful. You could do ASCII art. What more do you want? Yeah, so I suggest we talk to the people in the TAC, for instance, in the SIGs, just to make sure that they don't feel that a decision's been made which goes against them. And I know I need to be realistic about these things, but that doesn't stop me saying what my view is.
Yeah, well, a nice way to get around this, and it is when you market to cybersecurity, it's one of the every company I've had to explain, you can't do like LinkedIn ads, you can't do any ads. They all have ad block. It's the one audience you can't touch. Yeah, I think a nice way to get around that is, I think, making the emails visually pleasing and like short summaries. I think a lot of this is just coming down to creating narrative summaries that are human readable on that side, and then just have a markdown repo of those sitting on GitHub, so anyone can go to the markdowns records moving forward.
Yeah, that's really good. I like that a lot.
Always just have that markdown linked in that top, so that's what people, and that's what they're comfortable with, and they want to put their comments and issues, get engaged immediately, they'll be in the right spot.
Fantastic. Great feedback. Last but not least, members are all welcome to contribute. So if you have any idea and you want to be featured in anything in the newsletter, let us know.
Yeah, may I add to that as well, which is that we want to make sure that if there are interesting news stories about confidential computing stuff, then you let us know, and we can put them up in the news section of the website, and some of them hopefully we can also put in the newsletter. But I'm not a big fan of just straight press releases going onto the being linked from the newsletter. But if you get press coverage of a press release, then why not? Let's put it up. It's all stuff that benefits knowledge and visibility of what we're doing in confidential computing. So my view is absolutely, if you're Canonical or Intel or Red Hat or Google or a startup, specifically a startup, and you get some press coverage, please let us know. And, Rian and Ben and folks can put it on the website really quickly.
Yeah.
That should benefit everyone.
Yeah, so I think we can do a better, basically, syndicate strategy around confidential computing with all of everyone on this call, right? So come to us with your stories, what's important, really what makes you stand out, and we will work around that. I think it's also a little bit of a cart and a horse problem when it comes to getting this content out there. So I think that's where we come back to these content drips and when we are putting out these specific elements, you'll have a list that lets you know sometime in January or February or March that we're covering a topic that is right on your use case. That's when you want to be reaching out to me and telling me, this is what I want to cover. So we'll have the introductory material so that anyone can understand about computation. And I want them to then be able to step into your project space with that understanding. So yes, getting that content out there and getting it shared. Do be in touch with me. We've got a lot more to put out there. As I said before, one of the strongest things that SEO, like that machine reads to confidential computing, are the words what and is. We can do a lot more with that. So it's a lot to be done.
Awesome. Love all these ideas. Next up. Okay, so as I mentioned, I'm hoping to have our SIG leaders to come in and update or just use this time. And maybe you want to bring in the expert. I don't know. You want to do whatever you want to do with this. It's your slot. So you can do it. So the new framework is going to be the biweekly in our outreach meeting. We will have a regular kind of a check-in process where you will use this segment for the updating and using as your heart desire. SIG meeting cadence. So I'll leave it up to you all to decide. And if y'all need to set up a regular meeting within your SIG, feel free to let Rian know. But I really wholeheartedly believe like you just decide what works for you the best. So I'll just leave it up to you. So just quick announcement, our lead for each SIG is for events, Laura is leading this group and she will be tied in with the OC3 planning for the first quarter. So for that time frame, I'll be her backup support, but she will be leading and supporting event strategy for 2024. Technical document, Mike Farron-Jones is leading, and he already has been working on the use case research paper or research report, working with LF, and then I think I will let him talk a little bit more in a little bit. Demo is led by Pawan, and as you can imagine, we'll have a lot of collaboration opportunity with Saul, what Saul's doing. So there is a lot of I'm sorry. Okay. So you guys can join force or we can talk about that when we talk about events and other initiatives. But something that Saul brought up in our other meeting is to really have a clear roadmap and give enough time frame so that we are prepared and we are hitting the right market at the right time. Web presence, we need leadership for this one. I know we have some of you volunteered to be in this SIG, but no one raised their hands to be the lead for this SIG. But it's just so you know, this is where you get the senior marketing PM from LF. And that is because we want to have all this external, web presence, a PR and everything. I want this one person to really be able to see and be able to really track. Oh, we haven't been being able to set the blog post need to be every 2 weeks or every month or whatever it is, like being able to track and then let us know, hey, you're this is being old over here or whatnot. So we wanted that. And the PM will be able to support other areas, PR, of course. So you have a lot of support and resource here. That's one thing I wanted to mention. So if you are interested, if you are kind of a digital marketing gig, feel free to let me know. It's your role. And then honestly, I think this is the most fun part.
Yeah, it's not just fun. Out of all of these things, it's probably the most bang for your buck for participation because you get to control quite literally what most people only get to engage with, which is the web presence.
Exactly. Exactly. It's your playground. just play with it and roll with it.
Yeah.
Okay. So before we end the meeting or have anyone else for any other opens, upcoming 24 initiatives, as far as what I know, again, my brain is just catching back up from the holidays, but we quickly touched on the Boston. OC3, we have 15-minute sponsor speaking, even though it's sponsored, it should not be a promotional kind of a session. So let's really think about what we want to cover here at the OC3 community. And I know Laura is here. Laura, there is a deadline to submit or give you the title and abstract, right?
So my suggestion, sorry, Laura. On.
Laura said that she needs to drop for another meeting.
Oh, okay.
Right.
That's okay.
My suggestion would be that it's a great opportunity for Sal to talk about the move we're doing to project projectize stuff, and push the project and open source. It's a very technical meeting. I know they're trying to make it both, but I think it's a great opportunity for Sal to push what we're doing there. So that would be my suggestion. I'm happy to take it, but I'm equally happy for Sal to become visible. I think that'd be very sensible.
Absolutely. And for the topic standpoint, let's collaborate together and see what we want to talk there.
Absolutely.
RSA, we will have a booth. We got a pretty good deal. And we are associate partner with them. What that means, we will help each other. We will cross promote. So I committed to publishing a newsletter or including RSA in our newsletter each month leading up to the conference, which, I think that would be easy because it's just going to be under upcoming event. And, something as we get clear on what we want to do, any project we want to feature there or whatnot, we can slightly, plug in that promotion.
Does the sponsorship we're getting involve any speaking slots? I'm guessing not.
No.
Fine. I've put in 4 or 5 different slots. I have no idea if any of them get, but I've really pushed it because it's a great one to be visible at.
Yeah.
And do what?
We put a raised hand.
Sessions, okay.
RSA, I pushed 4 or 5 sessions, before the CFP, which closed in November or October or something ridiculous. But yeah, I put some stuff forward for it.
Manu?
Yeah, I just wanted to mention that we got a startup booth at RSA. So we will
Awesome.
be there also. I did put a session in also. I don't think we're going to get in because it's very, very hard to get a session in. I think the CCC has a much better chance, but if there's anything we could do to cross promote, that'd be
100%. We will absolutely do that. Very, very much so, Manu.
Yeah, because we have this tiny, it's the in the startup area, it's just a tiny little, 1-person booth, but we could use all the traffic we can get. So
you'll still get loads of traffic,
same
but we'll certainly
space.
help.
I'm not sure. It's a 10 by 10. I believe it's
ours is much smaller than that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Literally, I think it's the size of it's a table, and
table,
it's a 6-foot wide thing, so it's tiny. But anyway, so I just wanted to let you know that we'll be there, and we'd love any cross promotions possible.
I'm guessing that Intel will be there and other major people who are attending this call. If we can just put some pieces, some documentation, some literature on. The other thing, if it would be interesting, I know that people like book signings, and I would be happy to do a book signing of my book if any of the people here would be interested in doing that. I'm not making money out of this. Seriously, I never expect to make money out of the book, but we can get them in at half price from the publisher, and I'm happy to do a book signing. So please consider that if that would be of interest to anybody.
I would make that highest priority because there are no other good books on the topic, and you literally have to read a book on it before you can understand it. I mean, that would unblock us from.
I love it.
So
cool.
Yeah.
The same goes for any other conference, but RSA is the big obvious one. So just plan ahead because we need to get the publisher to send us stuff and pay for it and that sort of thing. Sorry.
No, it's okay. And just to reemphasize, I think we should try to figure out all the CCC companies that will be at RSA, and then have a strategy to really cross-reference and maybe a QR code somewhere where people can snap and say, this is the list of, CCC, companies and the booths and the area and stuff like that. So that, and then we can put that QR code across all the booths. So we knit stuff together and we enable people to just see the extent, because when you go to one booth and they tell you, I do confidential computing, you don't know about the others. So you have no sense of how pervasive it's becoming. Even if it's not a large number, it should be a practice that we use across all conferences. So anytime we can knit stuff together, it's just going to give us a bigger size or bigger, influence.
That's a great call out. I think RSA would be a great place for that. Thank you.
Yes.
For all of these, if I can so what I need is to know which projects and which partners members are going to be there present. Then what you need to do, and this works really well, I found you just, again, printed copy with a QR code, but we will list out and we will make sure that they have a physical journey that they can take around that floor so that they don't miss it. But you have to carry them and show them where to go directly. But we
You do.
can't. But I do think it requires, because we've got such a specific audience, right? We need to make sure that they make total contact.
I like that
Absolutely.
term, total contact. It's like
Yep.
full body contact.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
This is rugby we're talking, not basketball.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, so would you all, the ones that are in the meeting and the ones that will be seeing in the minute, if your companies is participating and involved in RSA, will be present at RSA, please reach out to me or LF members.
Should we add a just to help people? Should we have a column in the spreadsheet to say whether your company will be attending? So just to add companies that are attending, that probably makes sense. We should do both, but I'm trying to make it as easy as possible to do.
Yeah,
to
I
do
would
these
really
things.
like them to be able to label themselves in that spreadsheet and give them a whole year up front because they're
That would
making
be
budgets now. So
great. Yeah, we can include that spreadsheet again with the call out for CTA.
All right.
Okay. Identifiers, thank you, Manu, for initiating. And so this is forming the industry panel. And I think, Mike, you submitted the session before the CFP closes. So we will hear back probably in February. Do you know, Manu?
Yeah, it should be, I think before the end of Feb. I forgot the exact date. Mike, thank you so much for
No worries.
doing
I
this
think
over
it's
the break.
you did great organization. So it's just I just put it together, but I think it's a strong panel. So I'm hopeful. I have to say, really like it.
Yeah. I'm hopeful that the DHS person can make it. Having DHS on the panel is a coup. It's pretty cool.
Okay. And last but not least, CC Summit. So I don't know who in our group is in the program review board there. I know.
I'm not, and I'm kind of surprised that we don't have one of us. I mean, doing that. I think Salah really should be on it. We should push that, given that we're one of the major sponsors. We should definitely be involved.
Yes.
Yeah.
I checked their website and it looked like it was just copied and pasted from last year.
Okay, so they're a bit behind. Okay.
This is the one organized by Opaque.
Yes.
Currently, yes.
Yeah. I will be on the technical PC committee, but it will be as a canonical representative. They haven't reached out for anything about the consortium itself.
Yeah, I think they really should do, given that we're one of the major sponsors. So let's push for that. If you could happen to mention it, if you get the opportunity, that would be great. Good to see Canonical getting involved with that, though. That's brilliant.
Yeah.
That's great. And I'll also send an email to my contact there.
There's another event that's worth talking about, which is the PET Summit across all of the different ones. Do you want to talk about that? You've got all the information.
Me?
Yep.
Oh.
I can if you want, but it's up to you.
Yeah, go for it. It's not here yet.
Yeah, sure. So the PET Summit went to Singapore, was good and got really good engagement. And they're looking to increase it significantly, double it, and possibly move it to July to overlap with Personal Data Protection Week. I don't know if that's a Singaporean thing or a worldwide thing. So they're looking to do that. And there's PET Europe and PET North America as well. And we need to decide whether we want to be sponsoring those. I think the Singapore one is a great way to push our agenda to be doing more stuff in Asia Pac. And I'd like to see the numbers expected for the other two before we make a commitment. Do we have that sort of stuff from Kisco yet?
I think the timeline, though, the Europe one is in February and North America is in May.
Close. Okay,
very,
even
very
that may be a
close.
bit close. All right, okay.
Mike Farron-Jones.
Gotta get off mute. So the pet summits I think are great. I mean, we've had people go to them until people come, attend them and report back on what they have found. And it's basically an audience of people who are intently interested in technologies that protect data. So
Yeah.
you couldn't ask for a better serving of our potential audience. Their programming is intently determined by who sponsors. And so it's our folks that have gone to have reported back like fully homomorphic encryption is just dominant because like you've had these little FHE startups spending their entire marketing budget for the year to sponsor the pet summits. And so there's very little mention of confidential computing at them because the confidential computing companies have not been sponsoring them.
And that changed when we were at Singapore because we sponsored the first morning, and we basically had a morning of programming, which really helped swap that around. But you're exactly right. There's a great opportunity for us to get in there and make a big noise. As you say, Kisiko, who organize it, are heavily influenced, should we say, by sponsorship.
Yeah. So
which is
it's a great, I think it's like a pure distillation of our potential audience. It's that you can't just, buy a booth and expect to be heard in the programming. So you have to buy a sponsorship.
Yeah, this group is amazing. They're really open to collaborate and work with us on giving, just like Singapore one, we had the whole morning dedicated sessions, like 5-6 sessions just on confidential computing. So which is amazing. So
we also have problems getting people to attend and speak there. So we need to plan earlier this time. But if it's going to be July, we need to start doing that soon. So
that is very interesting. I mean, I understand that they want to locate in that week with the other one, but from November to July, it's quite a bit of a shift.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah. So I heard that from the IMDA, who were the.
Yeah, I just wanted to second everything we just said. I think we should be at all of these privacy enhancing technologies. Because the same thing, feedback from our side, we got traction in a place that we would not have gotten traction without the privacy aspect of confidential computing. So it really is a door opener, and having the privacy officers of organizations aware that there's a new way of doing things, it creates a champion at the C-suite or at the senior management of the organizations. And then they can go to the IT organization and just say, wait a minute, why are you not doing this? So equipping those people to just pull us in is extremely, extremely strategic. And I'll try to make myself available for any of those conferences, especially if we can do it under CCC without too much money investment from the startup itself.
Well, I will try and attend the EU and the North America ones, even if we're not sponsoring. I think it makes sense, and we'll try and get Sal to at least one of them as well.
Well, so I would actually, why would we not sponsor this? This is probably
because they're very close. They're sort of February and May for the EU and North America. North American, I think we're too late.
Oh, okay, all right.
But we should talk to them. Kisiko, they're always willing to listen to money, so it's worth a go.
Yep, I can check on that.
Thank you.
I mean, you can always, events one will always take more money, and number two, money when they're getting closer to the deadline. So it's worth reaching out and saying, is there anything you've missed, right? There's happy hour sponsorship opportunities, that kind of stuff.
Totally. They're really workable. I never followed up during the holiday. So it's a great time for me to follow up. So yeah, we'll do that.
And please say that I've spoken to the IMDA and that we're very keen to work with them and those sorts of things as well. So.
Okay, great.
Cool. Excellent. We're going to be busy, Sal.
Yes. So use case report, Mike Karen Jones, do you want to say anything? Did you have anything you wanted to run it by?
Yeah, so we are making progress. We've had several folks raise their hands. I think Mike, you have been instrumental in tempting, cajoling, harassing
Yeah.
folks to participate. And so we've got about 5 or 6 contacts that I have sent over
Great.
to the LF research folks, and then an internal call for participants within Intel. I've probably got about another 3 or 4. So yeah, it's been, basically, I think the key learning here is when you take the burden off the interviewer or the interviewee, participation goes up.
And I've said it before, and I'm going to say it again. If your company has sent you to this meeting, you have use cases for confidential computing. So, Yash and Ijlal, for instance, if you're not already speaking to Mike Farron-Jones about this and you don't know about it, we're doing a use case a collection to make a white paper to spread the word. And Canonical, they sent you here. That means that they have you have use cases for confidential computing, and so please speak to Mike.
No, that is correct. I'm gonna ask for something. It's just because I feel there is so much that the consortium offers, right? So as opportunities for us to leverage, and I don't know all of them. If you can refer Yash and I to something written, or I'll be happy to take a meeting if you want to do that. But we want to know what we can do, right?
That is brilliant. So another thing I should talk about is over the next week or so, we hope to publish on the website a list of benefits of being a member of the CCC, because we don't do that at the moment, and it's really bad. So I'm Kate, I think you've been CC'd on that. If you could have a look at it, I'd love to check that I've not missed anything from the outreach side. This is a good example of something I think I may have missed. So let's put that up. And I know it helps everybody talk to their companies. So we will do that. Thank you, Ijlal, for reminding me and giving me an opportunity to talk about that. Really appreciate it.
Absolutely. And I'm going to take your offer still to have a meeting with you and Sal to discuss canonical plans. And yeah, okay,
absolutely.
All right.
No, really look forward to it. Where are you based?
I'm based in Norway, in Oslo.
Oh, I might have to come to Norway. That would be awful.
Yeah, especially in summertime when the day is 24 hours. Just it's terrible.
Yeah, okay. Well, we'll sort something out. Fantastic. Anyway, let's get in touch. If you don't have my email address, I will send it to you right now in the talk.
Oh, yours I do have, but
Fine.
Sal's I don't.
I will share. I'll share Sal's with you as well. If you just send me an email, I'll send it. That's great. Thank you.
Fantastic. Mike, by the way, I did see 2 emails. Is the one you're going to be using, is it the Linux Foundation one, or is
no,
it the
do
one
not
that
use
you
the
have?
Linux Foundation one. Use the other one, please. I don't check that one as much.
No, I think she was talking to me. No, I botched it yesterday when I was sending out the that note about the Tech Docs committee, or that when I anyway, when I copied the email address for the Tech Docs list, it got the mail to colon on the text, and that screwed it up. So I had to do it a second time.
Okay.
People besides you only got it once.
Okay.
Sorry for the confusion. I misunderstood.
No, my question was actually for Mike Purcell, but
okay. So yeah, don't use the.
I didn't
don't use the Linux Foundation one. Sorry.
So Sal, though, you are using Linux Foundation, correct?
I mean, I'll catch it.
We're just trying to confuse you.
I quite literally have this problem so much. I just use the Motion app, so I've got all my calendars on one calendar. I will see it.
Okay. Good to know. Oh, so I think we briefly mentioned demo and web presence earlier. So hope to get someone raise their hand for the web presence part, and we will get that rolling very soon. But I'm looking forward.
Yash and I do want to raise our hands. I'm just going to wait for my meeting to know exactly what we're getting ourselves into, but it's super interesting for us.
Awesome.
Good.
I love that. I love that. Okay. I'll get in touch with you. All right. So that's all I had. Does anybody have opened or anything? Closing thoughts?
I want to apologize. You hope this is going to be a short meeting. It's turned into a normal length one. So apologies. We've had loads to say, but that's because we're really enthusiastic and Sal's brought loads of stuff to the party as well. So thanks, everyone.
Which is great. That's what we wanted. Awesome. There you go. Yay. All right. Well, thank you everybody for joining. Hey, Ellen. And I hope to see you on the next one. And Rian will summarize all of this and put the CTIs all in a minute, and you all will receive the email, and anything that needed to be done will be in the email. So let's just
One more thing, suddenly remembered, is that one thing we've not been good at is tracking who comes to these meetings and hassling those who don't. And so there's a new set of capabilities from the Linux Foundation, which is going to help us do that. And so I don't know if we give points to people who turn up a lot and take points away from people who don't, but we'll certainly be hassling people who don't, particularly who are supposed to be voting members. So thank you, everyone. You get at least virtual points for turning up to this meeting. Thank you very much indeed.
Great.
See you, folks.
Okay.
thank you, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone.